All right, everyone. Welcome back to Sports Flow with BK and Speaks. This week we will be talking about how the Ravens beat down the Detroit Lions pretty good this weekend with that 38-6 win.
Boy, did they ever. It's not as exciting not coming into this pod with the old Lions victory music, but that's what happens when you lay an egg over in Baltimore.
Yeah, exactly. I think that there was nothing to be happy about with this game.
Nope.
I mean, we can dive into it, but it's not pretty how it went down last Sunday.
Yeah, the only thing to be happy about is this wasn't in the postseason and it was earlier in the season, so we can learn and move on from it and hopefully only get better.
Yeah, no question. I think when we're talking about it, the Ravens are definitely one of the top two teams that we've seen this year. I think obviously with the Chiefs week one, but this is probably number two. Well, actually, I think they were probably the best team
all around
when we look at the result there.
Yeah, this is the best I've ever seen Lamar Jackson play from the start of the game to the end of the game. It looks like he's really starting to get in tune with that new offense and the new offensive coordinators and the playmakers that they've surrounded him with. His poise in the pocket was just like I've never seen before. He knew exactly what to do, when to do it. It was pretty special, really. I got to give all the props in the world to Lamar and the game plan they had over there in Baltimore.
Yeah, he looked like the MVP Lamar Jackson. If he plays like that, Baltimore is going to win the Super Bowl. That was just a dominating performance.
Yeah, it sure was. I mean, he started off hot. He ended hot. He made all the necessary throws. It was a brilliant game by him. And, I mean, I know he had his MVP season, but throwing-wise, I think that was his best performance to date.
Yeah, I agree. I think, he improvised with his legs in the passing attack and was able to just kind of pick apart the Lions defense. But first, we'll just dive into the offense. Not much to be thrilled about here as the Ravens dominated the game up front and just dominated the physical aspect the entire time.
Yeah, it looked like Goff was struggling all game. I mean, he even came out and said, he didn't have his best game. The balls were coming out a little wobbly. I don't know if the wind was a factor. It certainly seemed like it. Lots of drops. He wasn't getting much help. So, I mean, you can't put it solely on him. The offensive line, he was getting pressured. I mean, it just all the way around. I mean, we lost Montgomery too. That really hurts us and our, ability to play calls how we want them. I thought we would have made the proper adjustments knowing he was out, but we didn't make any adjustments for that game. It was a hard one to watch.
Yeah, for the first time this year, Goff looked like he was uncomfortable in this offense, and it was very difficult to watch. I mean, that whole second half the game was basically over at that point.
Yeah, I mean, the game was basically over at that point. I mean, especially after we decided to go for it when we marched down on our first possession in the second half and decided to go for it on fourth down there and turn the ball over on downs. I would have really liked us to, get some points on the board and build the momentum up a little bit, just like when we finally did score a touchdown with Gibbs. That was great to see him get that. But I would have liked us to also see us kick the extra point there. And, it's just situational football where I know we're aggressive, and that's our MO. But sometimes you got to play to win the game or be competitive in the game and not, to just be aggressive all the time.
Yeah, I think I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to play the analytics and try to crawl back into the game. But right out of the gates, I mean, the Ravens had the ball for the majority of the first half. We kept going 3 and out. We kept going, on these short drives, and the Ravens would get back on the field. And when they got back on the field, our defense was so tired by that third or fourth drive that they were just marching down the field on us.
Yeah, they sure were. It was a good old-fashioned ass kicking from top to bottom. I mean, I wouldn't say that we won the battle in anything the whole game. Would you?
No. I think, a couple bright spots here. St. Brown had a great game per usual.
He even had drops though too, which I mean, don't get me wrong, he was targeted 14 times. So I mean, you're gonna have a drop here and there, but he doesn't usually drop the ball.
No, that's not his MO at all. But we were relying on him just way too much. There was nothing we could do offensively in the passing attack other than get the ball to St. Brown.
Yeah, and I wasn't a big fan. I haven't been a fan of the utilization of Jameson since he's been back. I mean, we're running him on the same routes every single time. I'd like to see us utilize him a little bit better. We see that he can make the challenging catches. Yes, did he have some drops? And have drops been an issue? That they have been an issue, but at the same
Absolutely.
time, I don't feel like we're putting him in the best positions.
I believe the same thing, man. It's every time he's on the field, it feels like he's running a streak route.
Yep.
Why aren't we getting this guy to run across the middle, get the ball in his hands, and see what he can do that way? I mean, the guy's speed is off the charts. Let's just get him the ball and see what he can do in some of these mid-range routes. I feel like we're limiting him a little bit there. Maybe he's getting used to the playbook after the suspension or whatever the case, but the utilization of him right out of the gates here is like run a streak or that's it. Like, I mean, they're not doing much else with him other than a deep route.
Yeah, to run some reverses, get him involved some other ways, get his hands on the ball. It doesn't even have to be in the passing game, just let him, get his feet wet, let him get, a little bit into the, get used to the offense a little bit more. But when we're running the same routes every single time with the guy, I mean, it's not beneficial for him after everything that he's trying to come back from in the limited time that he got with the coaches and the communication he wasn't allowed to have serving his suspension.
We just have done him kind of a disservice with this, and we're just doing a disservice to our offense, I believe. I mean, we've been clicking on all cylinders, no question about it, the last couple of weeks, but that speed could really start opening things up for us, and I think we got to get the ball in his hands even on these shorter routes and just see what he can do.
I do agree with you on that, Brian, and hopefully we, learn something from this game and start implementing it, in this, I was about to say Oakland, but Las Vegas Raiders game just doesn't have the same ring to it. But a bright spot on the offense with Montgomery being out, I thought Gibbs did have himself a good game. I don't remember him dropping a single ball. I thought he ran great between the tackles, and he got that touchdown, and our only touchdown of the game.
Yeah, we finally got to see Gibbs kind of unleashed here. You can see kind of the weapon he's going to become for us. I think you'll see him kind of get inserted a little bit more into the offense week by week here. But I'm excited to see it because what we saw this weekend was pretty good from him. I think the guy can run through the tackles and does a great job even in the passing attack like you were talking about as well.
Yeah, his speed is undeniable too, just like Jameson Williams. We have all kinds of speed on the offensive side of the ball, but when we're trailing as early as we were and trying to come back, it's a hard ladder to climb.
Yeah, it was brutal. Very tough to get out of that hole that we put ourselves in right out of the gates. You got to look at it and say, hey, the injuries might have played a factor here too. Obviously, they're just part of the game. You kind of got to deal with them as they come. But we missed David Montgomery a lot this weekend. It looked like we really needed him in that physical running attack, and we just didn't have that.
Yeah, I mean, he's a key to our offense on, first play, first down, that we usually like to, run him or, do a little play action off him. And it's not like we can't do that with Gibbs, but he just adds a whole nother dimension to the offense. And, we didn't make the proper adjustments with him being out, and it was very evident. But I think moving forward, we'll clean this up, and I think everyone's going to learn from it. Laporta is a rookie. I mean, that was his worst game as a pro. And we haven't really seen him drop balls like he was dropping balls. I mean, it was just the whole team across the board didn't have a good game. And I mean, even the defense, we can start touching on the defense. I mean, yeah, were they on the field a lot? Yeah. Did they not get many breaks? Yes. But they didn't play very good either. I mean, even when we were bringing some heat up front, then our secondary was in limbo. So it was just one thing after another, man.
It was pretty brutal. I mean, the other thing that we could talk about too with this is how good the defense for the Ravens played.
Yeah,
We got to give credit where credit's due.
absolutely.
We couldn't get anything going. Their linebackers were flying all over the field. Their linebackers changed that game, and we just couldn't do anything against them. That's easily the best defense we've seen so far this year.
Yeah, that defense, it reminded me of the old Baltimore Ravens with Ed Reed, and what a day to do it.
Yeah, we talk Ed Reed. We can also talk Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis, but what a day for the defense to come up big like that against our high-powered offense when it was a ceremony to Suggs, who was a hell of a player in his own right.
They definitely made a statement. It was impressive, the performance that the Ravens put on. When we look at our defense, I mean, they did all that they could in this game. They were just on the field so much in that first half. They looked sloppy, but looking sloppy, the other reason for it is Lamar Jackson was playing at an MVP level, and I'm not sure any defense in the league could have stopped him with the way he was playing this weekend.
No, I'd have to say Lamar and Patrick Mahomes 1-2 in the MVP race right now, especially after that performance for Lamar. I mean, it was a beautiful thing to watch. I mean, I'm a Lions fan, but when you see talent like that and the way he was playing, you got to give credit when credit's due, like you said earlier. And boy, did he have himself a hell of a game. And I'd like to see if he'll follow it up, next week.
He's been clicking with his offensive coordinator here the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
I know they got that new offensive coordinator over there, Todd Monken.
Mm-hmm.
But they started to click last week against us, and it was very difficult for our defense to deal with.
Yeah, it sure was. And, we were talking about linebackers, on their side of the ball. On our side of the ball, that was our worst graded linebacker performance of the year with Barnes and Campbell. They were ranked the two worst linebackers, and Anzalone too. All three of them were ranked near the bottom of linebacker performance for that week. It's I'm just happy it happened this early in the year. It reminded me a lot of the New England game last year. Did you get that feel at all when it was just the beginning of the game tore us up and we just couldn't catch up?
Looked very similar. I mean, we're talking New England side, just like last year. New England came out and played an outstanding defensive performance against the Lions, and it was tough for us to deal with. We're going to have to clean that up because we're going to face some good defenses here along the way. And if we want to be a serious contender, we got to be able to move the ball on them.
Yeah, we got to, learn from it, but not, think back on it too much. We got to be all in on Oakland and, sometimes as
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, I can't stop myself over here. Thank you for the correction. But yeah, with Las Vegas coming in, we just got to do a better job. And as Campbell said, this is maybe he should have went a little bit harder during the week and not giving players time off, and should have been a little bit more intense. As we've done all year, and you let them have some rest. And I think we took the foot off the accelerator, my man.
Hindsight is always 20/20. I mean, I think, you look at it and you're like, oh, I want to give my guys rest, because it is a long season.
And we've been injury plagued.
Yeah, and you talk about the linebackers. I mean, they've been great, but this was just an atrocious performance from them. I mean, they were getting leak-out halfbacks going for 70 yards, but, I mean, that's the Lamar effect.
And fullbacks. I mean, we couldn't do shit, man. It was bad. It was just bad across the board.
Yeah, the pass rush, it was a nightmare because, I mean, Lamar was just escaping anything that we sent at him. And then when he got out of the pocket, it was just a complete breakdown. Yeah,
you have one guy commit to him, and then that leaves, the fullback or the tight end, and then they go for 70, 60 yards. So, I mean, it's just
way too many big plays.
That's what happens when you have a quarterback who can extend the play like that. That's why, a lot of teams are moving in that direction because of the advantages it has.
Yeah, Action Jackson in full force here. I mean, the guy is electric when he plays at that level. It's incredible to watch, but it was not fun to look at as the team on the other side.
One bright spot for us, since we haven't said too many positive things about the Lions, Hutch did get a fumble recovery, so we got to, give him a little bit of credit there. That's the one bright thing I can talk about. But not having Jacobs, with his knee injury, that really hurt us.
The injuries started to add up.
Yeah, the injuries are starting to add up, and
part of the game, though.
It is part of the game, and it's next man. It's been next man up this whole year, and we just didn't get it done this week.
Yeah, it was. You could see. I mean, they had more depth. They were ready to go. We didn't have it. Tough result, but I mean, in the end, it's a bad game overall. You watch the tape, you learn from the tape, and then you burn the tape and move on. Get on to next week. It's a long season. This is still the professional level, and upsets happen all the time.
Yeah, and another depth piece on the offensive end that we just lost is kind of unfortunate. Great locker room present, but he has some family matters, he has to attend to. So our young guys, Green, who we drafted, is going to have to step up at wide receiver with Marvin Jones now, doing what he needs to do for his family.
Absolutely. He has to do what's best for his family here. I want to thank Marvin Jones for everything he's done for this organization. He's been great here, and I wish him all the best.
Yeah, we love you, Marvin. We want everything to be okay, and we wish you nothing but the best.
Now, one thing we do need to talk about here, though, Speaks, is these overreactions to this loss. We had Stephen A. coming out last week saying that we were the number one team in the NFL. Now he comes back this week, calls us fraudulent. I don't want to see ourselves. I don't want to see us on another list for Stephen A. Smith. Like, if you're not with us, you're not with us. We're going to show up and we're going to put in the work and we're going to be in the playoffs. Hopefully, if we continue on this pace. And it's just like, it's ridiculous, the overreactions I'm hearing about one loss.
There's always these overreactions in the NFL, one week, the 49ers and Brock Purdy's are God's gift to earth. And now he's lost 2 straight games. Minnesota goes in there on Monday, takes care of business. We can go that, the Vikings not the Vikings, the Dallas Cowboys had the best defense since, Lawrence Taylor, the days. It's like, it's overreaction after Monday. That's just how it is in the NFL. And I don't want to see that shit either, because, the Lions, they are right, where they need to be. We took a little slice of humble pie, and we're going to come back out firing against Oakland.
Yeah, it's still the professional football league.
Yeah, anyone can be anyone.
Yeah, upsets happen.
Exactly, man. Anyone can be anyone on any Sunday.
No, I'm not saying this was an upset necessarily, but it's a huge overreaction to this. So the way the Lions have played football this year so far, to knock down their credibility and what they've done is just insanity.
It is insanity, because any given week in the NFL, anyone can be anyone. So I don't want to see that we just suck now because we were overrated. The hype wasn't real. No, that's bullshit. The hype is real. We had a shit game. We played against an MVP quarterback, a damn good coach. And you want to know what? They were at home, and we've never beat Baltimore before, So, I mean, if we're going to do anything, we're going to learn, we're going to move on, and we're going to be better from it. And this is only going to make Dan Campbell a better coach, too, because, he said he took his foot off the accelerator. They switched practice up a little bit. So I doubt he'll ever be doing that again and just stick to what he's, done, and that's worked for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of these circumstances where everybody's hopping on the bandwagon. Everybody's hopping on the bandwagon. Well, the fact of the matter is you got to sink with the ship and sail with the ship. So if you're not with us, you're not with us. And I don't want to hear people jumping on and then saying, oh, they're frauds. Like, I'm fed up with it. I'm hopeful that that no longer is happening.
Yeah. I'm hoping that no longer happens either. And I don't think we'll have to worry about hearing it again, because I don't think we're going to have a dismal performance like this the rest of the season. I think this is our one and done. Our schedule is favorable. And speaking of schedule, looking into next week, on Monday night, prime time. What a better opponent to play on, the Halloween than the Raiders.
The Raiders, a little bit of spooky season here.
Yeah, baby.
Crowd's going to be crazy, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, as am I. I think this is going to fare well for us. I think we're going to be ready to go against, even with Jimmy G coming back. What do you see happening here, Brian?
Yeah, it's got to be a bounce back for the Lions. They're going to come out. That defense is going to be firing. That environment that we're going to put out here at Ford Field with our fan base is going to be very effective against that Raiders offense. I'm not sure the Raiders have enough. I mean, they got beat by the Chicago Bears just a couple weeks ago, 30-12. Given Jimmy G wasn't playing, but still, I mean, the Bears aren't anything really this
Well,
year
just
from
as
what
you
it's
said,
looking.
anyone can beat anyone on any given weekend. The
That's
Bears beat
fair.
them, so I mean, it just happens. So with that said, who do you got?
Yeah, I mean the Raiders are 3-4. I think we take care of business, get a bounce back here, 31-13.
31-13. I like that prediction, BK. I got us 35-17. I think Crosby is going to be a problem as he's been all year. Hell of
Tough.
a defensive end. Dude has a motor. It's pretty similar to Hutch. And Myers has been balling out. And then you always gotta you
Devontae.
gotta be aware of Devontae, man. He tore us up too much in Green Bay, and now he's with his hometown Raiders. Well, they're not his hometown
Yeah.
anymore, but you know what I mean. It's who he.
Yeah, Devontae Adams has been a dog for years, man. He's going to continue to be problems for
Yep,
us.
yep. He looks pretty good in that silver and black too. But I think we're going to take care of business. I think Campbell's and Glenn and Ben Johnson are going to have a better game plan, and I think the players, lick their wounds and are going to be ready to fire it on all cylinders this game.
Yeah, sending the Raiders back to Vegas with that L.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's all the time we have this week for Sports Flow with BK and Speaks. We hope you enjoyed it. And we'll get that music going in the intro next week again, baby.
Hopefully, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.